Hi YouTube. I know it's been a while since I've been on, but I've been receiving so much from God, and I've kind of been putting some things off that He's asked me to put on. So I'm going to share those things with you. They are some dreams that I've had back in might have been 07, 08, on up to I guess 2011, 2000. Well, I said up to 2012. But he has wanted me to share these dreams because they are about disasters that have already hit the earth and about disasters to come. And I've been kind of putting it off because there's so many that I've had, so I've kind of had to kind of pick and choose which ones I felt the need to share. Um, but I'm just pretty much going to just start, I guess, with the very first one that I can clearly recall. I didn't write it down because at that time I didn't know to write my dreams down, So this was back maybe in 07 or 08. But I had this dream that I was, I guess, standing on a platform. And I want to say I was in some type of state building. And I remember there were a bunch of people standing around me. And I was standing on the platform, and I remember telling them that they need to get right with Jesus, that they need to be saved by Jesus because He was coming soon. And I've had several dreams like this where I'm, telling people and preaching to people that Jesus is coming. Actually, I've just recently had a dream like that. I think it was Sunday, but I'll share that in another video. But this dream, I was sitting on the platform and I was preaching, and I just knew that the rapture was getting ready to happen, and that's what I was preaching, like Jesus is coming back soon, and we need to get ready. And then all of a sudden, I remember being in a vehicle that I had, and it was a van at the time. And I remember my family being in the van. I had picked them all up, and they were all in the van. I just remember looking up at the trees, I guess even towards the sky, I guess. And I remember this witch, kind of transparent looking witch, dark figure. It was like she was unleashed upon the earth. And I remember just chaos happening. There was rain and thunder and lightning, and it was just so much going on. Cars, running to each other. It was just chaotic. It was just so much stuff going on, and I just remember thinking like, how am I going to get out of this? Or I just wasn't really sure how I was going to get out of that situation. And all of a sudden, I remember seeing this huge transparent hand begin to guide me out of all that chaos. And I knew it was the hand of God. I knew instantly it was the hand of God. I knew it was God guiding me out of all that, all that chaos. And I felt safe, and I felt peace as He was leading me out of it. And then I woke up, and as I didn't write it down, but as I began to think about the dream, I remember thinking that that witch that I saw was like Mother Nature. Like she was released upon the earth to wreak havoc, upon the earth to those who, I guess, didn't believe in God. I mean, it's like she just came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, all this stuff started going on, and it was just crazy, and I just knew. I was like, okay, this is just that's who it had to be. That's the only explanation I can come up with, and the only thing I felt in my spirit that God was trying to show me. But His hand showed me that He's gonna, even though there's gonna be a lot of chaos going on, a lot of disasters happening, He is going to protect us. He is going to speak to us through the Holy Spirit and direct us to where we need to be, to where we can seek safety. We have to stay in Him. If we don't stay in Him, we don't stay in Him and trust Him and believe in Him and stay in the Spirit, we will get caught up in that chaos. We will get caught up in disasters and in destruction. We have to stay in Him so that He can lead us and guide us to safety. So that's what I felt about in that dream. Hopefully I get all these dreams on him. I already went through I guess 5.5 minutes, but if not, I have to do a second part. My next dream, I know it already came to pass. It actually happened last year. I had just had my son, and I was home with him, and I remember dreaming about these huge tornadoes hitting in this city. I didn't know what the city was, and I knew it wasn't where I live at. I live in Florida, and it wasn't in Florida. So, I mean, these tornadoes were tearing things up, throwing around trucks. I mean, I was in disbelief. It's like I was standing there just, and I guess it's more like a vision because I could just stand there and I was just seeing everything that was going on, and I just couldn't even believe it. I couldn't believe that there were tornadoes this strong that could just tear things up like this. And I didn't really think too much about it when I woke up. And this happened in, I think, March 2012. And I didn't think too much about it, and I didn't write the dream down. I just was like, I guess I kind of brushed it off. But maybe 2 or 3 days later, I just so happened to be watching, I think it was the Weather Channel with a friend of mine who had come over, to visit me and the baby. And I looked up and I saw these trucks just flying in the air. And I was like, wait, what is going on? I was like, where is this happening at? And he explained that it happened in Texas, and that it was happening right then as we were watching it. It was happening live. Like, I couldn't even believe it. It was like, okay, I had freaked out because I knew I had just saw this in my dream. So I was just in complete shock. I never had a dream to happen within a couple of days, and then I see it actually happening in real life. That has never happened to me. So I just kind of freaked out for a second. I could not even believe it was happening. So that wasn't a dream about tornadoes. I've had other dreams about tornadoes, and maybe I just didn't pay attention to them, but I've always had dreams about tornadoes since I was probably in college. And up until maybe last year, I think. It might have been let me see, hold on. Oh, sorry about that. I think the last dream I had about tornadoes, that was last year, August 30, 2012. I think that was the last dream I had about tornadoes. And there are just so many, I've had so many of them. I just didn't pay attention. But this time it was like God was gonna make it known, like, hey, you got to pay attention because this is happening. It's gonna come to pass. So that's what He's been dealing with me now. Like, now I'm starting to see, like, all these dreams I had or are, even the recent ones, they're gonna they've already come to pass or they're going to come to pass. So my next dream is about flooding. And this dream I had last year, July 31st, and I wrote this one down because it was just it was so real and so vivid. But I was on a college campus, and there seemed to be some type of emergency. I remember being yelled at and going upstairs to go upstairs into a restroom with other women. We were talking amongst ourselves, but no one really knew why we were there. All of a sudden, I remember trying to get to higher ground. I was sitting on a black car, which I believe was an old car that I owned. We were outside, and it appeared that we were on some type of mountain or hill. It was dark, and I was looking into the sky. I saw a full moon, and as I was looking at the moon, it formed into a heart and then split apart like a broken heart. I began looking all over the sky, and I realized I could see the stars and the constellations appear very big and bright. and I saw a red type of streak across the sky, as if it was like connecting the dots, pretty much connecting the stars, like connect the dots. But that's what it looked like. And then the scene changed, and I was at a friend's home. And while I was there, water just appeared everywhere. There was brown water, and it was just flooding everywhere. And even though it had flooded, there was no rainfall anywhere. So it was just all of a sudden there was just water. I didn't even know how it got there, but I knew rain hadn't caused it. We were waiting on a helicopter to pick us up because there was water covering all the buildings and homes. When the helicopter arrived and picked us up, I could see the remaining buildings explode, caught on fire. I remember waking up and falling back to sleep, and a friend of mine was in my dream, and I was at her home, urging her to pack her bags and that it was time to go. I knew it was an emergency, but I wasn't sure what it was. I looked over, and I realized all my bags were packed. And I kept telling her she needed to pack her bags. I left to go home, and as I was walking, I remember seeing other people outside of their homes. So I guess they were packing up, getting ready to go. What I had got from this dream, this is kind of my revelation from it. When I saw the moon turn into a heart and break apart, I knew, even in the dream, that it represented God's heart, and it was breaking. I believe God is sad about what is happening all around the world, especially the U.S. He's very disappointed. The red streak across the sky represented Jesus' blood. At the time, I wasn't too sure about it, but I'm definitely sure that that was his blood that was streaking across the sky. The only thing that I felt that caused the flood was either a tsunami, a meteorite hitting the earth, or I guess a hurricane. And it could have been days of rainfall, but I knew there was no rain. That's the only thing that threw me off. There was no rain, and maybe it just rained so much, and I don't know. I didn't see any rain in the dream. So only thing I can think of, maybe it was a tsunami, maybe an earthquake caused a tsunami, maybe a meteorite caused a tsunami. I don't know. So then I guess the sense of me packing my bags, or having this urgency, I felt like God was telling me again to be physically and spiritually ready. That actually this was the third dream I had where God was telling me, well, I saw myself packing my bag. So I don't know if that was telling me to get ready for the rapture, or just be prepared. So I am almost about to run out of my minutes, so I don't want to run over it, and I hear my son crying, so I will come back with another video to share 3 other dreams that I had. So I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you in a bit. Bye.